Hi guys, today I'm going to discuss the code courses round 738. So basically, I didn't discuss the previous 2 to 3 rounds because they weren't going quite good for me. So I was not having motivation to come back to this. So okay, now let's start. So here our first question comes: matcha, mocha, anything. Just leave it. So suppose now you are having n elements and their indices are from 1 till n. And at every iteration, you could choose two indices, L and R, and then you could replace the elements in them in the palindromic style. What what I mean by that is, suppose you are having a palindrome like this: 1 2 3 2 1. So these two numbers are same. So in this, if you are taking these two elements, then you would and these two numbers and then replace these two numbers with the and of these two. Similarly for this, and as this couldn't form a pair with any other, it would remain as it is. So, so, so by doing this, you need to minimize the maximum value in the array. And as you can do this step multiple number of times, you could easily see that if a maximum number has set bits at some positions, some random position, suppose at 2, 3, 4, 7, 9. So what you would want is that you would want that how many bits you could unset in this maximum value so that it would become minimum. And what you could see is that if I take this maximum value and with every other possible element, then I can be assured that I would get the minimum answer as this could be only the minimum possible answer because every element would unset some bits if possible. Otherwise, it would not. So this is just the simple case, and the code is more simpler than the logic. And I would be just taking first element, initialize it with the first element, and then I would be iterating from 1 till n minus 1, take input and print the answer. Question complete. So now let's come to question B. Okay, so here we go. So let me explain this question directly. It would be much easier. Okay, let me clear the board. Come on. Yeah. So here, suppose you are given all question marks only. So I'm assuming that you have at least read the question as you are seeing the video. So you must have already read the question. So I would be not reading it again. So suppose you are having all the question marks only. So what is the optimal way to fill it? It's just the simple RB, RB, RB. Similarly, BR, BR, and so on. So in both these cases, the imperfectness would be 0 only. And now, what if some values are already filled? Suppose this is filled question mark, question mark, question mark, R, question mark, like this. So what you would do is that you would pick any element which is not having a question mark, and then you would iterate to the extreme left, starting from that element to the extreme left, and from that element to the extreme right, till the time you are having question marks, and you would replace those question marks alternatively like this. Suppose here you got B, so till where you could go only one step. So I would go one step and mark this as R. I could go here 2 steps, so I would mark this as R and this as B. So with this, you can always see that you would always get the minimum possible imperfectness, and your string would be also be a valid string. So this is just the greedy solution, and I don't think it requires much more intuition. And basically, what you could again ask is that suppose I was having this BR 3 question mark, then you could say is that I suppose I do this like this BRB RR, and suppose I do it like this B R B. So here you could see is that you would ultimately get one imperfectness no matter where you start. So this is the beauty of this greedy solution, that you would be just seeing, and it is bit intuitive also, and you could also get this by just making 2 to 3 cases. So the solution is the implementation is pretty much in the logic only. So yeah, let's come to B. I would be just taking the strings, counting all the question marks present. If the string is containing only the question marks, I would just print RB, 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 and so on. And if not, then I would move to any element which is not having question mark. And suppose this is R and it is not having question mark, then I will move to the extreme left of it till I am finding the question mark. and I would simultaneously make one value corresponding to the other. Suppose here it was R, so I would make B, R, B, R, B, R like this, and here I would be making like the same only. I'll say as I equal to B, uh, RB, 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 and to the right, RB, RB, RB. So on. It's just the greedy implementation, nothing sort of very complicated thing. So here RB also gets completed. So now let's move on to C. C was pretty much a good question. I liked it. Was not having a very hard solution, but it was a very good observational solution. Yeah, it would be better if you know some bit of graphs, though it doesn't require that much of graphs, but it would be easier to understand everything if you know some bit of it. But now let me erase it one more. So here also I would explain the question directly without reading. So basically, what it is saying that there are n plus one villages. Uh, Forget the term villages, just assume it as nodes. So you would be given the value as n is equal to, suppose I am taking example as with 3. So there are 4 nodes, as it is already said, n plus 1 nodes are there. And what it is said, that every node from 1 till n, it would be connected by a directed edge from I to I plus 1. So 1 would be connected to 2, 2 would be connected to 3, and so on, till n minus 1 edges only. So here this would be connected. And now for every n values, you would be also given the value 0 and 1. So if the value comes out to be 0, I actually forgot what it was, from I plus 1 to n. If n is 0, that means from I to n plus 1. Okay, cool. So if the value is 0, then our edge would be directed from that node to the n plus 1th node. And if the value is 1, then our edge would be directed to n plus 1 to that node. So suppose at the 1 position the value is 0, then I would be having an edge like 1 to 4, and suppose if I'm having 1, then I would be having an edge like 4 to 1. So now I need to find a path so that I can reach from one node to another node covering all the nodes. So if it is possible, print the values, and if not, print -1. Now I would claim that there would never be the case when the answer would be -1. And I would show you that by considering n is equal to 4 case. So now let's clear all. So you are having like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now 1 to 2 is already connected, 2 to 3 is already connected, 3 to 4 is already connected. Now you can see that at position 4, if the value was 0, then I can connect this to this. So you can see that if I start my path from 1, then I can reach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, done. So if at an the value is 0, then my answer is coming, no problem. And now if suppose the value at a1 is 1, so now what I would be having, let me erase this path. Okay. So now there would be a path from 5 to 1. So now you can again see I can reach from 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So again I'm reaching. So in these two cases, there is no problem. And now both these cases don't exist. So let me do it that. I make this with this as this would be the case, and from here to here. Now here we can see that an is having value 1 and a1 is having value 0. Now I would say there would be only 4 cases. So that is 5 to 2 would be the directed edge, or 2 to 5. Similarly, 5 to 3 or 3 to 5. Now let me show you that answer for all these 4 cases exists. And then I can definitely generalize it for every other value of it. So, okay. Now you can see is that if I connect my path from 5 to 2, then you can see that I can reach from 1 to 5 to 2 to 3 to 4. Done. 1, 5, 2, 3, 4. Now, if now as this is the case, so this covers if 5 to 3 is also attached and 3 to 5 is also attached, I am having no worries because this is the only condition which I am getting satisfied. So now this is also not the case. So now I am having edge 2 to 5. Now you can see that there would be two cases. Suppose I am having edge 3 to 5. Now you can see that I would be going from 1 to 2 to 3 to 5, then 4. Again, my path exists, no problem. Now, the last case which is left is this. I am having an edge directed from here to here. So I would go from 1 till 5 till, okay, 1 second, what I did here. Yeah, 1 to, okay, sorry. I would go from 1 to 2 to 5 to 3 to 4. So you saw that no matter you would always get a possible answer. So here our solution gets completed, and it's not just the implementation which I would show you by the code. Okay. So if the value is n is equal to 1 or if n is equal to 1, then is the base case. So I'm just dealing it directly. And if that is not the case, and the value at one position is 1, then I can directly print the answer which I showed you here, which I showed you previously. And if the value at nth position is 0, then also I can do this. And now if both these cases don't exist, and for n is equal to 2, I just made it as during the contest time, it wasn't bit obvious. So for any other node, as soon as I find a node which is having the value 1, that means it would be directed from n plus 1 to ith value. Okay. Let me show you to you here. So what you saw earlier, that whenever I was having edge from 5 to 2, then 1, 5, 2, 3, 4, my answer always existed. So if at any position I find a value 1, then from that position I can reach out to whole node. So that is the only case. If the value found is to be 1, store this value, and then I would print the value from 1 till that value minus 1, then print the n plus 1th value. As you can see it here, 1, I would print 1, then I would print 5, and then 2, 3, 4. So for that 2, 3, 4, this is the just from the jth value, which is the value where I got 1, till the nth value. And if that wasn't the case, suppose there is no value which exists, uh, there is no 1 in the array, all are 0, then no problem. Then I'm already initializing j with equal to n. So I would just do that with that, and then I would just print n plus 1, and here our solution gets completed. It was a bit implementation based question, but yeah, bit of observations, and not that difficult. So here C question also gets completed. Let me ace this for D1. Oh, yes. Okay, so let's come to D1. So this question is not that difficult and not that easy. I don't know how the submissions reached. So was there any cheating sort of thing, or I don't know. So this question is I implemented it with DSU, and if you knew it, then you would easily understand the logic. And but if you not, then I'm sorry. You need to first understand the DSU from Google or any YouTube videos, and then come to this. So here we go. So basically, you would be given with two graphs of person 1 and person 2. Now you need to find the maximum number of edges you can add in both these graphs, considering the fact that there should not be any cycle in the graph. So as the constraints here are pretty less because it's an easy version, it's only till 1000 only. So I can definitely run an n square solution. So what I would do is that I would iterate over all the node pairs and would check that can I add an edge between these two nodes in both the graphs? And if the answer comes out to be yes, then I would increment the count variable and then and just output that those two edges where I'm adding an edge. So this could be easily done by DSU, and I would definitely show you this by example. So it would be easier for me to explain also and easier for you to understand also. Yes, yes. There we go. Let's just hope that it doesn't come out to be that. Yes. So now Let me erase all this shit. Yes. So now there are 5 nodes as written here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I would make two parent arrays. This is for 1, this is for 2. So initially every node's parent is themselves only. And now it's saying that first 3 edges are part of first and the last 2 are this. So first 3, then this 2. So now as the 5 and 4 are connected, I would connect them. And I would make the parent of 5 as 4. Now 1 and 2 are also connected. So I would make the parent of 2 as 1. And now 4 and 3 are also connected. So I would make this as 4. So finally, my parent array of graph 1 looks like this: 1, 1, 4, 4, 4. And let me show you here this also. Also this, and this. This is for part 1. Now 4 and 3 are part of 1. 4 and 3. So I would make this as 3. 1 and 4. 1 and 4. So we can make this also as 1, this also as 1, this also as 1. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 4, and 3 are having the same parents. 1, 1, 1. This is having itself and this is having itself. So now what I would do is that I would iterate over all the edges. 1, 2. Suppose I take 1, 2. As I see that there is a segment which is having in itself, so I can't edge between 1 to 2 as it would form a cycle. Cancel. 1, 2, 3. Can I add? In the first graph, I can add, but in the second, no. So this is also disqualified. 1, 4. Yes, I can add here. No, I can't add here. So this is also disqualified. 1, 5. Can I add here? Yes. And 1, 5. Yes, I can add in both these graphs. Now, let me show you this. Let me make this graph also. 1, 3, and 4 are in. 1, 3, 4, and 2 and 5 are free. So now 1 and 5 I can add. You could see that here we go, and here we go. So now you can see that I have added this edge between 1 and 5 in first graph also and in second graph also. And you could also see that there is no cycle being formed. So this is the valid option. So I would definitely increment the counter by 1 and print the 1, 5 graph. And now as 1, 5 are now in the same component, I would make this as 1, this as also 1. So from here, the algorithm would be slightly different. I just didn't explain it from the starting because it would be a lot confusing by that. So now I take the edge 2, 3. Now I would find the parent of 2. In the first graph, it is 1. The parent of 3, you could see is that it would be ultimately 1. So parent of 2 is also 1, parent of 3 is also 1. So this is qualified. And this I would just do it because if you know the Kruskal's algorithm, it also works in the same way. Because if any two nodes are in the same component, and if I add an edge between those two, then I would definitely have a cycle. So to avoid that, I would definitely just skip this, and this I would do for every pair, and the answer comes out to be a valid answer. And I would just store all the pairs in the vector of pair and then just out. Let's come to D. And this is the parent array for 1. This is the for 2. This is the height 1 and height 2. And if you know the DSC implementation, you would know this is just the two rank arrays. And this is the parent function. If the parent is itself, I would return that. Otherwise, I would just find its parent, and after returning every time, I would also store, so that I don't have a log in complexity and it just works in a constant time operation. This is for 1, this is for 2. This is just combine function. If the parents are equal, just return. If not, if the V's height is more, then I would add U to V and then attach it to V. And if U is greater, I would attach it to U. Else, if both are independent and I can attach to anyone, I would just attach it to one random person and increment its rank by 1. This is just the same. So here I'm initializing the initial values, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for individual nodes. In this I'm just taking the input for first graph, for second graph, and this is the main logic which I just told you. I would iterate over all the pairs. I would find whether those two nodes which I am going to add, whether they do not belong to the same component. If they belong to same component, continue, no worries. And if they do not belong to same component, voila, we can add this one to our graph. So I would increment the count, combine those edges in both the graphs, and store this in the pair vector of pairs. And then I would just print all the values. So hope you like the solution and you got something new from it. And I was thinking to implement D also, but seeing the number of submissions, my mind just gave up. But I would try to have a look at it, whether it could be done by me at this stage or not. And if possible, I would share the solution, and if not, then. So thank you. Hope you like it.